if you're able to be on camera, we like looking at live people more than a box with a name in it. And if you're not able to, we understand.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, rock and roll. We are recording, so I think we're good to get started. Jenna, are we good to get started? All right, rock and roll.
Let's
Um,
go.
Let's go. All right, hey everybody. My name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm part of the team here at Movoto, formerly known as Ojo. I think I need like a tagline, like Movoto, the search portal, formerly known as Ojo, or something. But welcome to our May Pro Plus partner webinar. It's Friday. It's been a week, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun today. We'll make this interactive. It's gonna be I like it, Movojo. Hannah, we're going with that. We're going with Movojo. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna get y'all some great content. I'm gonna dive right in, just give you a run of show. I've got about 25 minutes of content, and then we got a panel for you that'll run for about 20-25 minutes, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. And so that's our playbook for today. These are interactive. These are not webinar format, so you can come off mute, you can raise your hand, you can ask questions, jump in. If you got something burning, just jump in at any point. But here we go. So what I want to recap for you here. Now, for a lot of you, by the way, I'm going to turn this off for a second. For a lot of you, we've been doing these Pro Plus President's Forums or road shows. Go to the bottom of your screen and give me a thumbs up if you've been on a road show yet with either Chris or I. How many of you have? I'm curious. Oscar Garza has. Carrie Bond has. Rachel Cooney has. I see Eric Estrada's team on here. I know that we did one with y'all yesterday. Jenna, can you mute whoever that is? I can't see them.
Hi.
There we go. Now I see who it is. Okay, cool. Jenna's got you. Anybody else hear that, or is that just me hallucinating?
I couldn't find it for a second, but we got
okay.
it. We're good to go.
All right. You're slow on the mute trigger finger today. Cool. So like a third of you have been on these Pro Plus partner webinars. If you've been on one, this is going to be redundant, but repetition is the mother of skill, so it's gonna help you. If you have not been on a Pro Plus partner webinar, there is a thing that we have started to teach that will help you understand what the consumer is going through and what the agent best practices are, and we call that the 3-5-3. So this is our first time showing you some slides that we've put together. So number one, when we have the customer on the phone, right? So customer comes in, that customer is usually going to be on Movoto.com. Now, Chris is going to talk a little bit about some times where they may not be on Movoto.com, but they're going to go on Movoto. They're going to click on one of three things. They're either going to say message an agent, request information, or they may go all the way down here and they may schedule a tour. When that happens, we're going to call them and we're going to get them on the phone. When we have on the phone, we ask them three questions. Number one, do you have a home that you need to sell? Number two, are you in contract with or committed to an agent? If they say yes, they are, we don't send those people to you. And then third, we ask them if they're looking to buy or are they looking to rent. If they're looking to rent, we don't send those to you. We only send the people that are looking to buy to you. And so, like I said, person registers on the website. We use some tech to evaluate which are the customers that we think you are able to serve. Then we do our best to get them on the phone, call, text, etc. And then we make introductions, and then our concierge team on the back end supports those introductions. Let me make sure I have my audio shared, and I'm going to play. I think, Jenna, this is a new call center recording. I don't think this is one that we've played before. Let's find out.
Hi there, Amber here calling from Movoto on a recorded line. Reason for the call today is you went over to our website Movoto, inquired about our property in Lawrence, zip code 29360. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Great. I'm just here to get you over to the agent to better assist you. I just need to confirm your email. Not net, correct?
Correct.
And before I connect you over to a member of the team local to the area, I do need to confirm you are looking to buy a property and not rent it, right?
Yes.
Any properties to sell?
No.
No worries. And lastly, you are not under any contract with any realtors right now, are you?
No.
Great. I'll send a notification to a member of the team. Once they respond, I'll connect you over through your call. Will I have you okay to send them a text?
Sure.
right, 1 second.
That's when we text you.
Okay, and before I connect you over to the member of the team, I did want to let you know quickly, all of our team members go through an in-depth vetting and interview process with us. They're very responsive, experienced, and for getting the best results. If you have any questions or better yet, need some help with buying, you're going to be really impressed with her. Please hold for 10 seconds and I'll get you connected over to her right now. One moment.
Now
Okay.
that script keeps going for up to 3 minutes, but as soon as you respond, they cut it off and they go get you.
Hello, this is
Amber here calling on behalf of Ocean Recorded Line. I have on hold waiting to speak with a member of the team local to the area. He is looking to buy a property. Can I connect?
yes, ma'am.
Great. Thank you for holding, sir. This is she's one of our top local team members local to the area. You're in good hands, and we'll get a follow-up in a couple of days or so to make sure you got everything you needed. Please take it from here, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. That's the intro call. So you all have heard our side. You know the 3 questions that we asked. If you haven't seen one of these texts, now whenever we have the customer on the phone, we put it right in the text body that says we have a live customer on the phone. The goal here is so that you will prioritize. You should respond to all of the lead offers we send quickly. Hopefully this will help you prioritize responding to the live ones so that you all can get that baton pass, that live handoff as many times as possible. Okay. Remember, I says 353. Let's talk about the 5. The 5 key things agents need to do when they get on the line. Number 1, smile. Hey, I'm a local real estate agent right here in Arizona, Utah, wherever you are. Number 2, ask for the appointment. Understand you're looking at the property on 123 Main Street. When would you like to go see that? Number 3, set the hard appointment. Not next weekend, not this weekend, not 2 Fridays from now. Like Friday, the 10th, 11:30 a.m. Great. I'll see you at 123 Main Street then. 4, make sure you get enough information about what they liked about that property so that you can use that to go identify potentially other properties that might be what we call switch properties for them in the event that that original one isn't available at the time that you commit to. And number 5, always close the call with here's what's going to happen next. That is so key. That helps the customer understand what's coming. Okay. So what I want to do for you now is just in quick succession, I'm going to play for you. This is an agent call. This one's 4 minutes long. And I'm going to ask you all to go through and just kind of watch this scorecard. And on a scale of 1 to 10, these are boxes, right? There's 10 boxes here. Did they introduce themselves? Or did they say they were local? And at the end of it, I'm going to ask you all to put a score in chat. All right, here we go.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm terrific. How are you?
Pretty good. So you are looking at 3.
Possibility, yes.
Okay, let me pull that up and make sure that's available. Okay.
Where are you located at?
I am located in
Okay.
3 and 9. So are you looking just in the area?
Yeah, that particular property, I need you to take a few minutes to explain to me what the difference between your services are and any other.
Well, I'm a buyer agent, and I've been an agent for 8 years, so I'm pretty experienced on the buyer side. I work with buyers a lot. So today, that's a ways for me, but I can still take you there. I just can't get out today. Do you have a time this week you would like to go see that?
Well, no, I guess I'm still curious as to, is there any difference between your service and any other realtor that I may call?
I am not the realtor with the listing. That would be the listing agent. I'm a buyer agent.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm not sure what I haven't.
Uh-oh. Sorry, I panicked. I tried to eject. Hold on.
Is an option for you. I don't recommend.
Is there any difference between your service and any other realtor that I may call?
I am not the realtor with the listing. That would be the listing agent. I'm a buyer agent.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm not sure what I don't know the benefit yet of using your service versus calling the listing agent or calling any other agent that I might know.
If you have an agent that you work with that you're comfortable with, that's always an option for you. I don't recommend that buyers. I try to recommend that buyers avoid listing agents because I'm not crazy about the dual agency. That agent is also representing the owner of the home. Agents are fiduciaries, so we, you know, our job is to do the best job we can for our client. So, of course, you know, when you're a listing agent, you have to, you know, look out for the best deal for your seller, and then you got to kind of walk a thin line because you need to also represent this buyer and do the best for him. It's difficult in that situation to give advice without creating conflict. So you know, if you know an agent that you like, you know, definitely you can use any agent you want. I'm an experienced agent. I've been doing this about 8 years, but you know, buyer agents are what I recommend for you.
Okay. So I guess what I was trying to figure out is I'd never heard of this Movoto or Motivoto or whatever that I signed up for. So it is essentially just a marketing agent.
There are several sites. You're probably familiar with Zillow, Realtor.com. These are sites that will list houses, and when they put these sites on their website, they, you know, and buyers then say, hey, I'm interested in this property. When you click on that property, it will connect you to agents that happen to pay for leads. Most agents pay for buyer, you know, leads. That's about how all agents operate. So, you know, people buy Realtor.com leads, buy Zillow leads. This is another lead source.
Just never heard of them before. So
I had not either until my teammate was familiar. We call them Ojo leads. They're not a lead source I was familiar with, but it's just like Realtor.com and Zillow and the other sites that, you know, show houses and then connect people that are interested and get them to buyer agents.
all right. Well, actually, then I'm probably going to pass at this point. I didn't understand it, but I do now, and I do have other opportunities for other.
In the future, just you see my number there, just give me a call.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Jeremiah, before I just got it, I've heard this call before. And it's, and I'm scarred for life from it, but there's just so much I want to say about it. But I think we all know that was first of all, that consumer was super patient. Like, I like that guy wins an award for being so patient. He asked 4 times a simple question, and I think Rachel or someone put it in chat, we have to be able to answer that question, because even if a consumer doesn't ask that question, it's underneath a lot of the questions they do ask, right? They're always wondering, well, what does this team do that's different, or why are they special? Now, you heard on the call that Jeremiah played before that, we build you guys up. You know, we tell them that we're only connecting them to the most experienced, most professional, the agents and teams with the best track record for success. And then it's incumbent upon you to be able to take it from there. But Jeremiah, I know there's a lot you want to say about it.
Yeah. First of all, Rachel, I was not saying what I said about being kind in response to yours. I was more saying that to head off anybody that may have not been kind. I think you're fine.
I wasn't being super kind. I could have offered advice. I mean, you're not wrong.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But look, but by the way, Chris and I have listened to thousands of these calls. This is nowhere near the worst. Nowhere near the worst. This is like slightly below average from a quality. So the great news is there's a huge opportunity to do this better. A few things here. And I would love to have you all chime in. Like, if you can build on what I'm about to say, please do. Number one, when somebody says, you know, what do you do different? A long time ago, I just learned that the best response to that is, I'm so glad you asked. Right? And then tell them what you do different. For me, I've been in this business for 24 years. I've sold over 2,000 homes. I've personally invested over 250 homes. You're not going to find another human in this city with the experience that I have. If experience isn't the most important thing to you, help me understand what is, and I can tell you if I'm going to be a good fit for that. I think the key there is like you should have a thing that you go to that is your go-to thing that makes you different. Some agents, I've heard them say, well, it's my brand. I hang my license with XYZ real estate company. That makes me different. Maybe that helps. I think you could probably do a little bit better than that. It's what did you do in like value prop 101 as we come into potential changes in the industry. This is going to be more important than it ever was. Now I'm going to give you all a freebie because you can use us at Movoto. We have an artificial intelligence driven algorithm that selects and matches the consumer with the best possible fit of a local agent for that. So if you're not 100% sure what your UVP is, A, go work on that. But B, in the meantime, just say, hey, I'm so glad you asked what makes me different. That's what's so cool about working with Movoto. When you submitted that lead, when you submitted that request, and by the way, do not say lead, that when you submitted that request, they have an artificially intelligent algorithm that runs in the background and hand selects the best local agent who is available to help you. And today that is me. That's why I'm on the phone with you. 8.5, 9 times out of 10, that's the end of the conversation. And so by the way, when they start to ask the question about, well, what is Movoto? I don't know what Movoto is. That's your script, right? Movoto is one of the top 5 most trafficked real estate websites in the United States. The reason I partner with them is they partner with the top agents in the United States. They only work with the best agents, and they have an artificial intelligence powered algorithm that hand selects the best agent that's available to serve you at any given time. And that's why they put you on the phone with me. They think I'm the best person to be able to help you, right? Set yourself up for success, leverage us a little bit.
And can I add something to that, Jeremiah? Because I did this with a team the other day in training, because this came up, similar question came up. And if someone says, well, what is, if they ask, and most of the time they don't, like Jeremiah said, we listen to thousands of calls. So it's once in a blue moon, you'll hear them. But if they do, that's a tremendous opportunity for everyone. Tremendous opportunity to say, hey, Movoto is a company that partners with the most experienced, the most successful real estate agents, which is why we're talking and why I'm so excited to be able to help you. Where was that property, or when did you want to go see the property you inquired about? Like, it's just, we don't need to over explain or over complicate things with the folks that are on the phone.
Yep. Cool. We're at 21 minutes, so I want to keep us moving. Does anybody have anything that they're like burning? Like, I want to add this hot potato that's going to add a ton of value to this conversation. If you do, you have 10 seconds to speak up.
Practice your scripts. I mean, practice them daily.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Like, we've all had this moment where somebody asks you a question. That person probably hung up that call and was like, gosh, I wish I would have said. That's why you practice, so that the next time it's not I wish I would have. It's this is what comes out. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't catch your name. You shared that. I think it was Brian. Thank you. Cool. So then look, on the back of this, there are 3 potential outcomes. And they're pretty straightforward. Number 1, great news. Calling you. Chris, we have a showing scheduled Friday, 3 o'clock to see the house at 123 Main Street. I confirmed it with the seller. We're going to go see it. In fact, I took the criteria you gave me. I found another house up the street. It's not even on the market yet. I'd love to show it to you before it goes live. Can you see that one Friday too? Serendipity strikes sometimes. That's amazing. Option 2. Hey, Chris, great news. I've got us confirmed for Friday at 3 o'clock. Now, instead of meeting at 123 Main Street, we're going to meet at 345 Main Street. Here's all the reasons why I think that's a great fit for you. And by the way, 123 Main Street isn't available, or we're going to go see it later, or whatever it is, right? That's why we get the information on that call to potentially come up with other options. Now, option 3 is if there is no other property to show them, there's nothing else to do, then this is where I use the good news, bad news script. You can write your own script, practice it. This is just an idea for you. I would call Chris back and I say, hey, Chris, it's Jeremiah over at Movoto. Calling you back. We have about our scheduled showing Friday at 3 o'clock at 123 Main Street. I've got some good news and bad news for you today. Bad news first. That property is sold. It's no longer available. It actually got 16 offers, sold for $25,000 over asking price, sold in the first day on the market. The good news, Now that you've met me, that's the last time it's going to happen to you, where you go on the internet to find a house, think it could be a house you live in, only to find out somebody else has already bought it. This happens every day. What my job is to get with you, understand exactly what you're looking for, so that I can use my resources, our 19,000 plus contacts in our database, over 200 homes a year that we sell, and my network of over 5,000 local agents, to find that property you're looking for before it hits the MLS, ideally before there's any competition, so that you can make a decision as to whether or not that you want that to be your home. So what I did, found us a Starbucks. It's 2 blocks from the house we're supposed to meet at Friday at 3. Let's meet there instead. We'll do kind of an initial consultation, get to know each other, see if we're a good fit. You help me understand what you're looking for, and I'm going to go find it for you. That sounds good, right? And we're just going to keep the appointment and try to pivot to a buyer consult. That is the 353. You're going to hear us keep talking about it. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep rocking and rolling because I want to get to our panel. ProPlus Trading Resources. Jenna's going to drop a link in the chat. You all, your agents have all asked tons of times for like, hey, can we get scripts? Like you guys drop all these amazing scripts. Your panelists drop scripts. Your Ojo Movoto folks drop scripts. We have built a script library. It is available to you. I'm sorry, a lot of them were recorded by me. You all should record scripts and send them to us so we can put you in this script library. They're here. There's a link. Use them, share this. It's a resource for all of our ProPlus teams. Okay. Here's an example of what this looks like. This is it. You know, there's a video. You can watch the video. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
Hey, it's Jeremy and Taylor.
And so, like I said, I'm sorry. A lot of them are recorded by me. These will get you started. But the key to these is going to be practice, because practice is what will help you have better conversations. Okay. I want to take you all through. I'm just going to show you this really quickly. And actually, I'm going to come back to this in just a second. Chris, do you want to talk about partner leads real quick while I cue this up?
Yeah, there's actually 2 things I want to talk about.
Cool.
Because it's top of mind, and that is we listen to calls, we record every call, we grade the calls. We also get to see, based on what agents are doing, who gets the best results. So we know which type of how calls are handled and the effect on the conversion rate. So I'm going to share with you all right now that the calls that convert, the agents with the highest conversion rate, the teams with the highest conversion rate, are all doing the same thing. And this is what they're doing on that initial call. They're doing those, making sure they cover those 10 points in the score sheet that Jeremiah put on the screen that you shall have a copy of, or we're happy to get you all a copy of. And they are introducing themselves. They're excited to meet you, understand you want to see the property. They're going straight to an appointment. They aren't looking up the property. They aren't trying to qualify the buyer. They aren't asking a bunch of questions. They're treating the calls like an outbound call, not like someone called them. Well, how can I help you? How long have you been looking? Right? This is an outbound call. We called them and then we brought you on the line. And then on the follow-up, when they call back, to say, hey, good news, we are confirmed for tomorrow at 10, that's when they'll ask some more questions. So the best calls are typically 1.5 to 3 minutes long. And sometimes they go longer if the consumer has more questions. But typically that's the anatomy of a great call. So the other thing I want to talk about is we are always looking at how we can provide more value to you. And we know that the thing that you guys value the most are more introductions. Movoto.com is where 90% of our introductions come from, right? That's our site, that's our portal. We also have some partners and some new partners that we're working with and we'll be bringing on. What that means is you'll be getting introductions of consumers that are coming from someplace other than Movoto. And we will tell you that when we make the live introduction. It could be a consumer that was on a lending site to get interest rate information or loan information or pre-approved or pre-qualified. Those are really good leads, right? That's a consumer that was interested enough to go onto a lender site, talk to lenders. Like they probably have a little higher intent than someone who doesn't do that. It may be we're actually doing a partnership with another portal, another one, in fact, I'll just say the name, with Realtor.com, where we have leads that we can't service. Right now, we aren't set up to service Spanish-speaking leads because we don't have a Spanish-speaking call center. They do. They want those. In exchange, they're giving us leads to reciprocate. And so some of the people we'll be introducing you to will be the same type of consumer, but the home they found may have been found on that site versus our site. I'm just sharing this with you because we're going to be bringing on more and more lead sources so we can get you more and more introductions, especially those of you who are converting at a really high level. And we just want you to be aware of that. We will make you 100% aware of it when it actually happens.
Thanks, Chris.
Buy you enough time for you to bring up what you need to bring up.
Yeah, and I was going to try to do an abbreviated version of this, but here's what I'm going to tell you all today. This is my public service announcement for today. Team leaders, this dashboard exists. A lot of you, myself included, have somebody that day to day runs your team, and you don't look at this as often as you should. This is your reminder, maybe call it a wake-up call, to go look at this. This is a blank version. What this is going to tell you is how your team is performing as stewards of your investment in their lead generation. And you're going to see, are they responding to lead offers? Are they opening the lead offers? Are they doing it quickly enough? Are they declining them? Are you leaving money on the table because they're missing warm transfers? Do you need to add more agents to it? Are you missing, do you have coverage gaps? If you have coverage gaps, your success manager should call you and tell you that, but you could see it here as well. It's going to show you your team's conversion rate all time over the last 12 months. You'll be able to see like which agents are getting a double commit from the consumer. That means the agent's telling us, this is a consumer I can help. And the consumer is saying, this is an agent I can work with. That is one of the best leading indicators of success, is that double commit rate. We stack rank every agent on your team for showing homes rate, showing homes count, offers made. There's a ton of data here, and then we give you all the details of your transactions. We show you the last time they updated their transactions in our tools, which is super important because that helps us know when and who to follow up with. You can see all their statuses. You can export all the statuses straight out of here. And then we give you our insights. So when our concierge team is following up and talking to the consumers that we've introduced to you all, if they tell us something, it lives right in here. And one of the most common things you're going to see here is the agent said they would and they didn't. It's a huge accountability piece because we'll call a consumer and be like, hey, how's it going with the agent? And they'll be like, oh, they were great. But they told me they were going to send me info on a property. That was Wednesday. It's now Friday. I haven't heard back. As a team leader, you would want to know that. Those insights are going to be here. Your agent roster, who's on, who's off, and then every consumer we've ever introduced you to is here. If any of you are interested and you want me to go through your dashboard and just record a video and say hey, here's the insights I see for your team. These are the things I would be looking at. I look at these every day. Send me a text, call, send an email. I'm happy to do that and send you a quick screen recording. Okay. I'm at 31. I'm going to go fast. Mike Quayle is still setting the pace for total homes sold in contract. He's at 11.5% conversion rate. Hughes Charlie, Josh Hutchinson, Home Smart River Realty, and the Tinsley Group. Y'all are doing a great job. As these mature, what's happening is we're seeing more teams figure this out and get to higher and higher conversion rates. So keep moving the needle. These are our leaders for the month of May. You all are crushing it. We said last month, the team that had the biggest improvement overall in accept rate and showing homes rate was going to win a box of Ojo merch. So mini drum roll because I want to go fast. Congratulations, Exit Realty Crossroads team. You all went from a 2.94% showing homes rate to 28.57% showing homes in 1 month. Now, my guess is there's some sandbagging and you were probably out showing houses already and doing all the things you're supposed to do. And you just started updating agent tools, but I love it. You guys win. Jenna's going to get with you. We're going to send you out a box of merch. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. And thanks for working hard on this and taking it serious. We are going to do another one. I just given time, I'm not going to talk about it today, but your April Facebook winner, we posted this. It was one of the top objections you're hearing. And I saw Spencer on this call. You win We're going to send you some Ojo merch as well. We appreciate it. We randomly select somebody that posts these. So Spencer, thanks for sharing this. I love this objection. I love seeing all the people that handled it there. So if you're not in our Movoto Pro Plus Facebook community, make sure that you get in there, join, you get engaged. There's a lot of really good dialogue in there. Heller's in there 24/7. I'm less good at social media than he is. He's great. So if you want to interact with him, go there. If you want me, text me or email me.
Yeah,
But that's it.
because you're in that older generation, Jeremiah, that just doesn't, hasn't adopted technology much.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Cool. I'm going to turn it over to Chris for our panel today. I will say, I want to actually say something about Eric real quick before we get going. I told y'all I've done about 40 of these Pro Plus road shows where it's like me and the team. And we're just talking in a small group, going through like what's working, what's not, going over some best practices. Eric, your team was one of like the top 3 most engaged teams of any team that I've done this with. It's clear, like when I look at your guys' results, it comes from the leadership of you and your team, and they're just doing a great job. And I see a bunch of them on here today. So thank you guys for doing what you do. Thank you for letting me spend some time with you yesterday. I'm gonna give you some kudos there because typically speed of the leader, speed of the pack. You guys are doing a great job. So Heller, I will give it to you.
All right, super excited to talk to these two leaders. As Jeremiah said, Eric has a great team. Lives in Colorado Springs, but has an expansion team, so operates in a bunch of different cities and states. California, Texas, Nevada, Florida, and I'm sure I'm missing some others. Been in the business for over 15 years. And when we have Kimberly Tufts, who also operates in multiple states, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, again, been in the business and runs a great operation. So thank you guys both for willing to be here and to contribute to everyone.
Thank you. Excited.
Hey, since I got calls on my brain, so I want to ask you guys about calls. I've had agents try to debate with me about the best way to handle initial calls, and what they don't have is all the data we have, so we get to see what works best. But I don't want to ask a loaded question. I want to just ask you guys. Let's see, how can I put this where it isn't loaded? Here's what I'll put it this way. We train agents to not look up the property information when you're on that call. Just set the appointment. You'll have plenty of time to do your research and everything afterwards. And some other things like that. What do you guys do? And Tiffany, I'll start with you first. What are some of the key things that you tell your agents on that initial call, so that it's successful, that you tell them to do or not do?
So we coach a lot on the calls actually, and we've been giving out the call scorecard to our team. And you and I, met with our team specifically, but it is smile, be upbeat. Hello, I'm so excited to, talk to you today. My name is, introduce themselves is really important. So, my name is Kimberly Tufts. I'm here with the Modern Group, eXp Realty, and we are a local expert agent in your area. And so you want to see blah, 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 So those are the things that we're coaching on, not dead air time. Try to not, a lot of silence. What's a good time? Just get on that appointment. When do you want to see it? And then that's really great. And the next steps are, I'll meet you at 3:00 on Friday. I'll confirm. I'll give you a call or text.
Yeah. So you keep it simple, straightforward, and go for the appointment is what I hear you saying.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, cool. Eric, how about you? You guys, you got a big team, big operation, multiple lead sources. I imagine your strategy is pretty similar regardless of the lead source. What do you guys do?
Absolutely. I also have my director of relocation, Sean Gaius, here. We have the blurred background, but he's back here. He's the mastermind behind the operations. But I think we try to follow the script. And I think for a long time our team didn't follow scripts, and we failed miserably because of that. And so with Movoto, for example, you have connect, set, and learn. And absolutely you're going to do an introduction. How you set that tone initially is how the whole conversation is going to go. And then from there, setting that appointment. That's the most important piece to the puzzle. It's challenging. I mean, we've heard so many different sample calls, and it's very easy to get sidetracked. It's very easy to kind of let the client take control of that conversation. So again, you staying in control from the beginning and setting that appointment first and foremost is going to be the key to driving that conversation. And then obviously once you've done that, just getting to know them. We're in a relationship building business. You have to build relationship. You have to ask the right questions. So whether that's asking, if they have pets or they have kids, or, how are you going to follow up with this client after the fact? And what, 3 important details are you going to learn about their motivation to move into a new home? So, it's all about tone, obviously connecting initially, and then setting that appointment, and then getting to know them, and making the call about them and what their needs are. So,
Yeah, no, I like it. And that is and I do believe that's the right approach. This is a relationship business. I also think if we go into those calls with a single goal in mind, which is set an appointment, it's much more likely to happen. And that means we're also prepared to take that call when it comes in. Let's switch gears and talk about, what do you each do? And it's okay if Sean answers this one, Eric. But what do you each do to help make sure that your conversion is high as possible, or said another way, to help hold your agents accountable so that the follow-up and the things that need to be happening to move people forward is happening on a weekly basis? And do you do anything on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so for Sean and I and the entire team, and they hate us for it sometimes, but we have a schedule, and we have a very strict schedule. And a lot of people get into real estate for flexibility, for more time. And while I agree that you can build a successful business and create more time for family, I think it's important to understand that you have to treat it like a business. So, just kind of day in the life of what our team does every single week is Mondays, we have one-on-ones and group calls with agents. And that's our time to kind of learn what challenges they're having, review calls, look at their metrics, and kind of identify any strengths and weaknesses that we can help them overcome. And then Tuesdays, we have what is called Team Tuesdays. And that's when everybody from our expansion network from across the country come together. We hear what we're doing. And again, it's about showing up and just being there for one another. Wednesdays, we have accountability meetings, and we also have in-person prospecting. And so between just the first few days of the week, we're going from coaching to holding each other accountable to spending some time together. And within all of that, I mean, we're training and we're having these conversations. I think scripting in general is something that's top of mind every single week, and it's something that we encourage our agents to participate in. And Sean does a great call on his one-on-ones and group calls on Mondays where, he puts agents on the spot and he wants them to participate. And if agents are not participating, they're probably not on our team, or they won't be on our team for long. So again, it's just creating a schedule, holding each other accountable, and just not being afraid to learn and to challenge one another and to hold each other accountable.
Yeah. And you touched on it. How specific do you or Sean get on those one-on-ones? Like, are you going like lead by lead, like a real, like an audit, or what's that like, that conversation?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think it'll defer week over week. If somebody has really good metrics, it's more about recognizing the agents and letting them know they're doing a good job. But if there are challenges and if there are ways to better themselves and coaching tips that we can give them, that's where the conversation will head. And so it could be very specific. It could be very generalized, and it just depends on their performance. So again, just because they're doing good doesn't mean we're not going to review their performance and their metrics, but there's the conversation will be different. So we take every agent very differently and specifically based on their scenario.
That makes sense. Tiffany, how about you? On a weekly basis, what does it look like on your team?
So what we're doing here is I work really closely with Hannah, our success manager, to monitor our dash, constantly going through, analyzing the data, trying to see where we have any holes. And then specifically with the agents, we're constantly doing training. We have a dedicated training just for Movado. And then the weeks after that, we just have regular coaching. I've been doing some one-on-ones and reviewing the calls lately with my agents. So going over the calls that are each person just to kind of, okay, this was great. Do this next time, and we're going to actually bring them into more teams and letting the calls go for the entire team, and listen in and add some suggestions. So in general, we're constantly doing the same thing. I think as Eric's team is trying to make everyone just that much better. But in the meantime, also I'm coaching on the side, so everyone has access to a group chat that we're all in. So we have a Movado specific chat. So on the daily, we are in there asking questions. How could I do this? What could I do better? And then also just providing a lot of encouragement, because this is not easy. Getting leads and converting those, these are the challenging, just in general, real estate can be challenging. Our times are a little more challenging. There's a lot going on, and just really I'm constantly providing a lot of positive encouragement to everyone. They're going to know when things didn't really go well with a call or something like that. They're going to say, well, what could I have done better? And sometimes there really might not be anything that they could have done better. I think maybe that they did everything they could, and they were only getting from that client or that person as much as they were willing. And I think that should be a little bit more thought about, maybe talked a lot about, because it's not always as easy as we might think.
Yeah, no. And I like that you are leveraging the call recordings, not just to go over with the agent one-on-one, but having the whole team be able to hear those, so everyone has the benefit of learning from them, just like we all got to do on this. And as Eric indicated earlier, some of them are painful, and but those are the ones that we get to learn from. All right, let's shift gears again. Let's talk about, I think something that's on everyone's mind is there's going to be changes to how we operate and changes to certain things we do come August, or should I keep saying July, so everyone's prepared in July and not. And I want to understand and hear about like what you guys are doing to prepare your agents. And Eric, you saw some stuff you're doing to prepare your clients and the people in your database. So Tiffany, I'll start with you. What are you doing to prepare your agents, and what things are you guys focused on for the the new world?
Yeah, we have been really, I dove in, all in for this, the new NAR changes. And I'm with EXP, and they have some forward facing, client facing materials that we've been provided, which has been really helpful. Some FAQs. I think we have the one showing agreement. So each time that we're going to go show one house, we have the one agreement for that, which I think is really important. Getting people to understand. And I think, with the Movado people, it's going to be a little bit different, right? So we're not going to just be able to go in and open a door without this one-time agreement. So we've been preparing that, working on scripts, trying to get everyone to understand what their role on the team is going to be. We don't want to make it scary, or it's just different. It's nothing scary, or just talking about commission, I think is a little different than probably what we're used to, because we need to get to that next step where Eric had said, well, let's make this a Starbucks meeting instead. So getting the client in, I'm always telling my agents, getting them face to face and then talking about those things, their family, their cats, their dogs, all of those kinds of things. But we have to figure out a better way to kind of meld that all together, sign this agreement to go in this house, which it was going to be different. So we're still working on that.
Yeah. Good. Eric, how about you? Tell us about what what things you guys are focused on in teaching and training with
You
the
know,
upcoming.
So here in Colorado, buyer agency and buyer agreements have always been required. So we're kind of ahead of the game as opposed to some of the other states. And so if you're one of those other states where having these conversations is new, just know it's going to be okay. I think there is a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of headlines on the news that are terrifying agents and our clients equally. And I think it's important to just know that these are conversations we should have been having, we should have had for many years. Nothing has really changed. There's just a focal point on commissions right now and how agents are going to get paid. And it doesn't mean that buyers agents are going away. It doesn't mean that we are going to lose. I mean, will we lose agents? We will. But I think it's going to be either because they're scared or intimidated by the changes, or they're getting misinformation, and or they're not getting the support or the guidance they need from their team, their brokerage, whatever that looks like. And so for us, communication is the most important thing. We've pivoted so many times. I've been in real estate for a little over 16 years now, and we went through a recession. We've gone through huge appreciations in the market, and we've pivoted just in the past 12, 24 months again. And this is going to be another pivot. And yeah, will there be conversations around it? There will. There's going to be more questions initially than there will be, but I don't think it's going to be as devastating as a lot of people are anticipating. And if you're treating your business again like a business and you're doing things the right way, having the right conversations, you're going to be just fine. We actually created a letter to our clients that we are preparing our agents with, and it talks about the main points of the settlement. It talks about what this means for them, what it doesn't mean, and it just clarifies things quite a bit, and I think having those talking points is going to be important, but it's I don't want to say it's not rocket science, because it will be tough for people who can't have conversations, who are intimidated by talking about commissions and representation. But if the more you do it, the more you're going to get comfortable with it. And yeah, our agents are kind of well ahead of the game, which is great. If you are in Colorado, you're probably well prepared for it as well. But if you're not, reach out to us. We're happy to help you and your teams and your offices, kind of move that conversation in the right direction, because it's intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. So
You that letter that you mentioned that you prepared for clients, how are you using that? Is that something you're proactively sending to them, or you're just arming your agents with that to be able to share when appropriate? Or both?
Both.
Yeah.
So again, it gives our agents talking points, but it also kind of eases the conversation with our clients. And we've gotten some feedback from clients, but not as much as we anticipated, which means it's a lot of noise. We'll just call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the same thing, Chris. I think that, what we've been giving is the FAQ, but even speaking to a lot of my clients, we also have the buyer agency agreement here in New Hampshire as well. And we've always presented the commission at that point, that if the seller wasn't paying it, that the buyer's agent would be paid by that client. So I think we're well prepared, but we've been handing them out to our clients as we go so that they're prepared. But a lot of the clients really haven't said much about it. The ones that we've been working with right now.
Yeah, I also think it's important for everyone to realize that this is our business, this is our industry. We deal with this 24/7. The average consumer isn't even aware of changes, and they don't even know how it worked before, and they don't know how it works now. That's right. So we're going to have an opportunity to educate them, and it's not going to be foreign to them, right? I don't know about you guys, but every year my accountant has me sign an engagement letter, saying what his fees are and what he does and what he doesn't do. I've never hired an attorney without a similar type of agreement. So people are used to that. There was a question I'll get to in a minute, but I want to ask you two. Let's just pretend it's the three of us. Well, Sean's there too. So the four of us having a conversation. A couple of weeks ago, Zillow announced that they were going to provide consumers with a non-exclusive, non-binding showing agreement, and to help their agents be able to then go get that face-to-face meeting with them. So they weren't creating friction on the immediate handoff. We had met with them the week before, and we had been contemplating something very similar to that. If we're able to provide that to a consumer, introduce them to you, provide them with a 5-day, 7-day, showing or touring agreement, that at least gets them understanding and tells them that should they decide to use you as an agent, that you will discuss your fees and representation. It gives us an opportunity to educate them on how important it is to be represented and who they're represented by is important, and that we only recommend and introduce the very best of the best. You see that as a way to making it easier to have that first meeting face-to-face with them.
I do see.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
So I see pros and cons with it. I think it creates that initial conversation. Zillow's specifically, it does say we will not get paid a compensation, and so that I feel a little indifferent about that, and I think it could go both positively and negatively. But I personally do not have an issue with it. It helps our agents create conversations, and it kind of rips a Band-Aid off, and it makes it a little bit easier. So I think as long as it's presented the right way, it's totally fine.
I was just going to add to that I think it may be against our state guidelines, though, for the state of New Hampshire. I'm not necessarily sure with the new NAR ruling that you can have the agreement going into play that says zero compensation. I think compensation has to be something. I think it has to be part of the conversation. So I don't think the zero compensation. I've been listening to a lot about this with the Zillow, and I'm not sure if that's allowed by our states. Other than that, I love opening the door for any conversation, any little bit that you can help us get our foot in the door with the client a little bit easier. I'm all for it. I'm just not sure about the zero compensation part.
Yeah, good. That's helpful. There was a question, and by the way, anyone that has any questions, now I'll open it up. It's not just the four of us having a conversation. Anyone that has questions, put them in the Q&A or in the chat. Here's one for you, Eric, specifically. How do you handle having to get a buyer rep agreement signed before the first showing all of the time? Are you having a full value, like a value prop conversation before that first meeting or at that first meeting? Like, what's that process look like?
So here in Colorado, we have a blanket brokerage disclosure to buyer, which is kind of that initial, kind of similar to what other companies are implementing right now. So here in Colorado, it makes it a lot easier because you can present that to the client currently, and it just talks about our fiduciary duties to them and the different types of representation there are. So for us, as long as we're presenting that at that first initial meeting with the client, we're okay. I think for us, it kind of creates a good conversation initially, and it kind of breaks the ice, and it allows us as the agent to get in front of the client, which is the first and most important piece to the puzzle, but then drive that conversation, build a relationship with them, and make them more comfortable with the idea of representation and a buyer agency. So we have that currently. How this will change everything, we're still kind of waiting to hear how that'll change things. But again, it's all about just the conversation, and just telling them that you do this for a living. And I think people forget that. I think a lot of people think that agents are all part-timers, and they don't treat their business like a business, and we're used car salesmen. And again, don't be afraid to show people your value, to talk your value, and be prepared to explain what you do for them. I think if you're better prepared in that sense, the conversation is going to go much smoother. And when you show your value, they're going to understand that, and they're going to respect you a lot more. So,
yeah, couldn't agree.
I think, yeah, and I think if I could just talk about that a little bit, setting the appointment, you know, I don't know, maybe that's part of the script that you guys are going to talk a little bit about. Like when you meet, you know, the agent at the house, there'll be a document that you'll be needing to talk to. I mean, I would love for everyone to be able to have a consult first, but it's not the reality of this type of business when we're in, you know, the Movado world versus a personal client and referral that was given to me. It's a little challenging to get that, hi, I just met you on the phone. Now meet me in my office. That's what I would love to do. That would be my perfect world. And then, you know, from there, we know what the next steps are. But we also have that one-time buyer, you know, buyer agreement that we could sign each property by property if we needed to.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, I just looked at the clock. I can't believe we're already out of time. I could keep talking to you guys for another hour, but I know your time is valuable, so I won't keep you another hour. Thank you both, and Sean back there too. I can just see Sean's arm the whole time. And for taking the time to be with us. And thank you everyone from all the teams that are on these webinars. We do these for you. We do these to provide value. And we will keep doing things and improving things to bring more value. So again, thank you everyone. Hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.